I plead the sixth, dude. I ain't talking. Okay, Amendment 7. In suits at common law where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, that was probably a lot of money back then, the right of a trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States. That's according to the rules of the common law. Hey, I like this one, number 8. This is awesome because this shit's crazy. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishment inflicted. So they're not supposed to go ahead and fucking put out, like, this is a shit ton of money, so therefore I'm going to make you pay all this money that most criminals don't have. You know, most of these guys aren't rich, but they're going to make them so they have to sit in jail because they can't pay. I don't know. Then you got the bail bondsmen. They're making some good fucking money off of that. Anyway, my bad, homies. Okay, Amendment 9. The enumeration of the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. So guess what? You're not supposed to make a fucking amendment on here that denies anybody else their rights that are already in the Constitution. That's in the first fucking 10 amendments of the Bill of Rights. Well, it is the Bill of Rights. But what the fuck? They do it all the time. They'll strip you of something. You can add on, but you can't take away. That's what the Army always said, and that's a true story. Okay, number 10. The power not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. So basically what they're saying is the states have the right to govern themselves, and the people have the right to fucking govern themselves. Yeah, let that sink in for a minute. The people have the right to govern themselves. So all these stupid bills where they put all this fucking fat on it to make it good for whatever, that actually is some bullshit because they're not doing that in your best interest. They're doing that in some corporation's best interest or some other jackass's best interest. Who knows? But they're not doing that for the majority of the people. And that's part of the problem. All right, so I want to go on to, we already did that one. The Constitution by Schmoop. We're just going to get a different example, okay? Take a listen. Okay, so let's talk about this. See, we got some a review here. Articles of the Confederation inadequate. The Constitution Convention convened in 1787. 12 out of 13 states were represented by 55 delegates. Structure of the American government was laid out. Federal government gains more power, and individual rights and freedoms are honored. They also have three branches of government: the legislative, the executive, and the reserve powers for the state and the individual. We got the House, Senate, and Supreme Court are created. Provisions for amendments. Government became popular by sovereignty, where power comes from the consent of the people. Bill of Rights is added in 1791, restricting government's power and guaranteeing personal freedom. It says restricted, but it restricted government's power and guaranteed personal fucking freedom. That's right, I'm Army. I had to have that word in there. But it guarantees your freedom. So we go back to the Constitution, and what are those freedoms? Now, a big one is the what in the Bill of Rights. Hey, listen, you got freedom of religion. Nobody can prohibit you from exercising that freedom. You got freedom of speech. You got freedom of the press. They don't use it, but you got it, or they have it. You got the right to peaceably assemble. You can petition the government. You can carry weapons. Okay? I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here that people don't... nobody can enter your house unless you want them to. They can't go through your shit unless they have a reasonable cause. And if they do that stuff without your permission, that is against the law. And if they don't have a warrant. So, I mean, people will do this crap. They'll enter your house, and I'm like, you can't enter my house without my permission or me being there. But, you know, they'll do shit like that and go, oh, you can't freaking go in there unless I tell you you can. It's freaking ridiculous. But there's a lot of other stuff too. You know, you can't be held for a crime unless you actually have an indictment of a grand jury. I don't know how a lot of that works, but I think I'm going to find out. But that's the basics of the Bill of Rights. And that's what everybody should know. We should all know this stuff. As Americans, we should know this stuff. And it's by the people, for the people. So you know what? They can make as many amendments as they want, but they shouldn't be taken away from our current rights. They shouldn't be doing that. But they do it, and we sit back and let them do it. You know, it's sad. It really is sad. So what I want to talk about now is I want to get a little bit into more of the different amendments that were later on held. There is stuff online where you can actually enroll to learn about the Constitution. It's not going to make you an expert, but at least it'll give you some basic ideas of what your rights really are. And I think every citizen should have that, because I think we sit blindly by because we don't realize it's being taken, because we didn't realize we had that right. So, hey, the judicial power of the United States shall not be construed to extend any suit in law or equity commenced or prosecuted against one of the United States by citizens of another state, or by citizens or subjects of any foreign state. So guess what? You're not supposed to get in trouble with any other states or any other, but they allow that shit too. You know, you're supposed to be prosecuted, if you've committed a crime, you're supposed to be prosecuted by the United States. Here's the thing that people don't seem to understand. There's a difference in cultures in a lot of places you go. So everybody, you know, some people who haven't traveled that much, they don't understand how different the culture can be. So let's take a look at it. If I go over to, and I'm not saying you should go over there and commit a crime and do something that they don't like, but I'm saying that people don't actually understand how different cultures are. So if I go over to another country and you're not allowed to wear the burqa, not that I'm going to wear a burqa, but hey, somebody might want to wear a burqa. You can actually be arrested for that in a different country. Forget which one it is, but hey, it's out there. You'll be arrested because your face is covered, because they want to know who you are. I'm not hating on that. Okay, fine. That's your law. But those are the things I'm talking about. Those are the things that I'm talking about that people don't understand. And when you go to another country, I obviously believe you need to respect our laws, but people don't realize how good we really have it. Because there's not a lot of restrictions put on the people of the United States. There's a lot of free countries, but there's not that many restrictions put on us. We need to remember that. So let's say you go to Syria, and you're a female, and you're, it's in one of those places where it's run by the real hardcore Islamic groups, one of the real hardcore Islamic groups. You can't walk without a male escort. You can't do it. Afghanistan, same way. But Afghanistan is more matriarchal than patriarchal, which is kind of interesting because Islam is more patriarchal. But it's kind of cool, I think so. But people remember, you go to different countries, you got to expect different shit. And I can't go somewhere else and tell somebody how to behave. Now, if I'm overseas and the United States government owns that land, and that's our land, and we have a right to it, well, obviously we procured it, or we are paying for it, then that's usually governed by the United States because you're on federal property. So our laws exist over there.